We've all been there before, those horrible, almost crippling headaches. Now, headaches can be a real pain in the you-know-what. And whether you suffer from the side-splitting, terrible migraines or the overall ache that you feel in your head, a lot of us will reach for an over-the-counter pill to kind of erase that pain. And while that's not so bad every now and then if the pain is really substantial, it's better to go to the root of the issue and find out what's causing our headaches, especially if you tend to suffer from chronic headaches. So before you reach for a pill next time, think about if these 6 surprising headache triggers could be causing it. Now, the first is actually gluten. Now, gluten seems to be that hot button topic everybody's talking about, right? I'm going gluten-free, I have celiacs. It's a real issue. But what is gluten? Gluten is actually a complex protein that's found in wheat, barley, and rye. And it is really hard for our bodies to digest, especially the more modern varieties. And as it turns out, people actually are suffering more from gluten sensitivity than the medical field is letting on to. Now, gluten is found in things like bagels and pastas. And if you tend to suffer from headaches maybe after you eat, or you already know you might have a gluten intolerance, that could be triggering your headache. So think about cutting out gluten for 2 to 4 weeks and seeing if any changes occur. Now, another surprising headache trigger is actually weather related. Now, we've heard an arthritic person say before that the weather makes their bones and their joints ache. But as it turns out, it can be much in the same way for people that have chronic headaches. It's due to the changes in the barometric pressure. And this happens a lot in fall and spring as the seasons are starting to change. It's starting to get colder and it's starting to get warmer out. So if you tend to suffer from headaches around those times of year, be prepared in advance. As it's springtime, the days start to get longer, it's brighter outside. Make sure you're always wearing sunglasses or a hat so that way you're not squinting and causing a headache. And as it gets cooler outside, make sure you're dressed appropriately. Because you know when your body's cold, your shoulders tense up, your neck kind of tenses up, and that can actually cause headaches as well. Now, here's the surprising one that I didn't know either. Deli meats and cheeses. That's right. Who doesn't love a delicious piece of cheese? But as it turns out, the preservatives and the nitrates that are actually keeping cheeses and deli meats fresh are some of the most common headache triggers in the world. So the next time you reach for that sub sandwich, think about if it might be causing those headaches. And as it turns out, these preservatives and the nitrates actually get stronger over time. So if it hurts you on day 1, it's going to be doubly as strong the next day. That's kind of scary. Now, scents is another trigger. Now, think about it. We've all been there before. You smell something really unpleasant and it almost physically hurts your nose. Well, according to Dr. Vincent Martin from the University of Cincinnati's Cancer Center, when you smell something, it actually triggers nerves in your nose that go to the part of the brain associated with head pain. So sometimes you are actually getting a headache because of something that you're smelling. It's interesting, right? Now, spinal alignment could be something that you don't even realize you have. If you tend to have headaches that you think might be associated with some neck or back pain, go to a reputable chiropractor and have them see if maybe you just need a slight adjustment or if you might be suffering from some sort of musculoskeletal degeneration. Now, lastly, I think this one is so funny, but I can truly relate to this myself. Wearing your hair certain ways, hair ties, hats, headbands. If you've ever had a headache before and maybe you were wearing a baseball cap, or as I do sometimes, you've got your hair pulled too tight and you start to feel a little bit of a headache, that's actually because you are literally crushing your head. Now, without being so dramatic, what you need to do is just loosen the band on your cap or loosen your ponytail. I'm telling you, I was suffering from dull headaches at work and I couldn't figure out what the problem was. It turned out, truly, I was wearing my ponytail too tight. As soon as I started loosening up and wearing my hair down, I promise you, it really did go away. Kind of interesting, and I never would have thought about that. So, how's the best way to keep headaches at bay for good? Keep a trigger journal. If you start to get headaches and they're coming on more and more, write down what you're doing at those times, what you're eating, where you are, and see if maybe you can figure out what exactly is causing the headaches. This means you'll be reaching less for the over-the-counter pain medicine, and overall, you'll be a lot healthier and happier in the long run. For more information and to see other videos like this, be sure to like us on Facebook or find us online at thealternativedaily.com.